It's Saturday in Yakutia. Outside, the temperature is minus 45 degrees Celsius, and the air is so dry and sharp that your breath turns into a small cloud of ice with every word. Most people are hiding inside their wooden houses, staying as close as possible to their stoves. But at the very edge of the village, a small wooden building is already awake. Smoke rises from its chimney, carrying a sweet, heavy smell of birch wood and hot steam. Today is Bathhouse Day, the only day of the week when almost the entire village comes to one place to wash, talk, and feel completely warm. And one woman, a 67-year-old grandmother with strong hands and tired eyes, is responsible for making sure the water is hot, the steam is thick, and the doors never close too early. In the coldest region on Earth, what does it mean to be the person who keeps a whole village clean, healthy, and warm? Her name is Nina. Everyone calls her Grandma Nina, even people who aren't related to her. She has lived in this village her entire life. Her father built this bathhouse when she was still a little girl. Now, decades later, the village has changed. Some young people have moved away. New houses have appeared. A few satellite dishes point at the sky. But the bathhouse is still the same. A low wooden building with 2 rooms, a hot steam room, a changing area, and a small bench outside where people sit and cool off with snow on their faces. Most homes here do not have full bathrooms.
Today will be a busy
Pipes
day.
freeze, water is hard to carry, and there is never enough space. So once a week, the bathhouse becomes a second home. For children, it's a playground of steam and laughter. For women, it's a place to share stories and worries. For old men, it's where they remember their youth and complain about their bones. For Nina, it's her life's work. Her job is simple to describe, but heavy to carry. Keep the bathhouse warm and ready for every single person who walks through its door. It's 5
Leave your
a.m.
boots there.
The village is silent, still wrapped
Don't
in
lose
darkness.
your hat.
Nina wakes up in her small
And don't
room
splash
next to the
water
bathhouse.
everywhere.
She sleeps here on weekends during the winter season. It's easier this way. She doesn't have to walk through the snow in the early morning cold. The first thing she does is listen. Is the fire still alive? Is the metal of the stove creaking in that familiar way? She sits up, wraps a shawl around her shoulders, and steps into the main room. The air is chilly, but not freezing, a sign that the fire didn't die completely overnight. She opens the stove door. Inside, a few red coals are barely holding on. She bends down, blows gently, adds dry birch logs. The flames catch, slowly at first, then stronger. In Yakutia, your day doesn't start with a shower. It starts with saving the fire. Nina then checks the water tanks. Outside the building, big metal containers are filled with water brought earlier from the village well and from melted snow. She opens a tap and hears the heavy, comforting sound of water flowing into the inner tanks. It will take hours to heat enough water for the entire village. Back in her room, she makes tea, eats a piece of black bread with butter, and looks at a notebook where she's written the families who usually come on Saturdays. Children in the morning, women in the afternoon, men in the evening. She smiles to herself. Today will be a busy day, she says softly. By 9 a.m., the bathhouse is already breathing. Steam begins to rise from under the door, and the windows are fogged up from the inside. Nina throws water mixed with herbs on the hot stones, and a wave of heat hits her face. In traditional bathhouses like this, the steam room is the heart of the building. People wash, heat their skin gently with birch or willow branches to improve blood circulation, and believe that the heat can chase away sickness and sadness. The first visitors of the day are children. They arrive in groups, led by older siblings or mothers, pink cheeks, noses running from the cold, wrapped in thick coats and fur hats. Inside the changing room, there is a small chaos of boots, mittens, and laughter. Leave your boots there, Nina reminds them, pointing to a corner. Don't lose your hat, and don't splash water everywhere. Of course, they splash anyway. For them, the bathhouse is magic. They sit on the wooden benches, take turns under the warm water flowing from the big metal basin, and squeal when a hot cloud of steam suddenly rolls through the room. Nina moves like a conductor in an orchestra. She adds wood to the stove, checks the water level, helps a little girl wash her hair, ties a towel around a small boy who insists he's not cold even though his lips are turning blue. Outside, the temperature is still -45. But in here, skin is hot, faces glow, and for an hour, the children forget what winter feels like. In the afternoon, the rhythm changes. Now it is the women's turn. Mothers, grandmothers, teenage girls, all carrying plastic bags with soap, shampoo, and fresh clothes. They come not just to wash, but to talk. In the changing room, they sit in towels, hair wrapped in cloths, sharing news and gossip. Who is sick? Who is pregnant? Whose son went to the city? Whose husband might be drinking too much since the last cold wave? For a few hours, the bathhouse becomes the warm social media of the village. No screens, only voices and steam. Nina listens, offers advice when asked, laughs at old jokes she's heard 100 times. But as the day goes on, a problem quietly grows. The outside temperature drops even more. The wind picks up, pushing cold air into every crack in the old building. Nina notices that no matter how much wood she adds, the stove doesn't hold the heat as well as it did in the morning. She goes outside to check the chimney. The wind is blowing in the wrong direction, pushing smoke back down. Inside, the steam room is getting hotter and smokier, but the changing room is starting to cool. There's another issue. More people came today than she expected. Her water tanks, which felt so full at sunrise, now look dangerously low. If she runs out of hot water before the men's turn in the evening, she'll have to send them home. An unforgivable shame for a bathhouse keeper. She stands in front of the stove, wipes sweat from her forehead, and makes a decision. She asks one of the younger women to watch the children inside, then pulls on her coat and goes out to the snow pile behind the building. With a shovel, she quickly fills several buckets with clean, dry snow, brings them in, and dumps them into an extra metal pot above the stove. Snow turns to water. Water turns to steam. It's more work, but it buys her a little more time. Next, she cracks open a small side window in the steam room, just enough to let smoke escape without letting in too much cold. It works. The air clears slightly, and the women inside breathe easier. Nina goes back to the changing room, her face red from heat and effort. Someone jokes, "Grandma Nina, you're the hottest person in the village today." Everyone laughs, but only she knows how close they came to losing their warm day. By evening, the children are home in fresh pajamas, the women are back in their kitchens, and it is time for the men. They arrive later, after work, from the farm, from the small workshop, from the truck parking lot. Their hands are rough, faces lined by cold, and years. They sit in the steam room, talking about broken engines, hunts in the forest, old winters that were even colder than this one. In the middle of the room, a big bucket of cold water stands on the floor. One man takes a ladle, throws water on the hot stones. Steam explodes into the air, hissing loudly, wrapping them in a white fog so thick they can hardly see each other. They slap each other's backs with birch branches, laugh, complain loudly about aching joints. For a few minutes, they are not tired husbands, not worried providers, just boys again, playing in the heat. When they've had enough, they run outside, hot skin steaming in the freezing air, and roll in the snow, shouting at the shock. Nina watches them from the doorway, a towel around her shoulders, smiling and shaking her head. By the time the last guest leaves, it is late. The bathhouse is quiet. The stove is still warm, but the fire has calmed down. Nina walks through each room, washing the benches, scrubbing the floors, emptying basins. Her back hurts. Her hands are cracked from hot water and dry air. She sits down for a moment on the wooden bench in the changing room, listening to the tiny sounds of cooling wood and whispering steam. Outside, it is still -45. But she knows that tonight, children will sleep with clean hair and warm bodies. Grandmothers will feel lighter, and tired men will rest with muscles that ache a little less. All because this little building was open, and the fire never stopped. In many rural parts of Yakutia, houses do not have full bathrooms.
Today will be a
Pipes
busy
can
day.
freeze solid, and building heavy plumbing systems on permafrost is expensive and risky. That's why public bathhouses have remained important for decades. They are not just places to wash, but also places to socialize, relax, and heal. Traditional bathhouse culture often includes using birch or willow branches called venek to gently slap the skin, improving circulation and helping muscles recover from hard physical work in the cold. On the coldest days, people may walk kilometers through snow just to reach a hot steam room. For many villagers, once-a-week bathhouse day is the only time they can feel completely clean and warm from head to toe. In a world that often moves too fast to notice small things, there is a tiny wooden building in a frozen Yakutian village where time slows down every Saturday. Here, people leave their boots at the door, their worries on the bench, and step into the same hot steam that warmed their parents and grandparents decades ago. For the villagers, this bathhouse is not a luxury. It is a reminder that even in a land of ice, warmth is something we can create together. For Grandma Nina, it is her way of taking care of everyone she knows. One bucket of water, one log of wood, one cloud of steam at a time. What about where you live? Do you have any place where people still gather, not just to do something practical, but to feel human together? A bathhouse, a tea house, a barber shop, a small cafe. Share your story in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel so we can keep bringing you the warmest stories from the coldest places on Earth.